beautiful, welcome back to my channel. And if you're new, hi, my name is Alexis Jayda and welcome. Today's notification shout out goes to Outspoken Me 2350. Thank you so much for all your love and support. Te quiero mucho. Besos. Thank you so much. If you want to be part of the notification squad, all you have to do is just like the video, hit subscribe, leave a comment down below, and your comment can possibly be the next notification shout out. I was gonna start thinking, but like honestly, you guys, something's in the stars or whatever, because it's been a minute. So much stuff has been happening, and I try to be very vague with the chismes that I give you guys here and there, but it's been hard. I feel like the more I am doing my story times, the more that I'm sharing with you guys know that there's a lot of people in my life where you guys are like, Jade, why the are you still talking to them? And I'm like, I'm trauma bonded. I guess that's what it is. So slowly but surely I've been, and it takes me a while. I feel like sometimes I will be funny and be like, oh my God, I was like triggered, you know, but then like when I get hit with like real triggeredness, I guess that's what you want to say, I'm like, oh, and then it's just super hard. The healing journey is super hard, super rough, but I've been pushing through, and I'm like really trying to just stay good, because I don't want to lose myself, because I've lost myself before and I don't want to lose her again. Anyways, you guys, sit back, relax. We're gonna get into the new story. It's gonna be either a story time very soon about the chismes, or it is going to be future ones because of how fresh it still is. It's really hard for me to come on camera when my eyes are like bloodshot red, eyes are puffy, and I've been crying. But just know it's getting better day by day, day by day. Alrighty, sit back, relax. Let me know what you guys are doing. If you guys are driving, where are you guys going? If you guys are cooking, what are you cooking? I love new recipes. If you'd like to share any, please leave down below. And if you're working, where are you working? Let your girl know. Folding clothes. Finally. I love you guys so freaking much. Close your eyes and let me pick some of the bad vibes from you guys. As I'm picking, just close your eyes, take deep breaths, and let me pick. Okay, just let the good vibes wash over you. Okie dokie. I love you, and I hope you feel a little bit better, because carrying those bad vibes, ooh, it weighs you down. I swear. I got a new palette. I'm so excited to play with it. Look at it, girl. All right, so we hear a knock at the door, and it's the police. I am literally see, because I'm like, oh, what is it? So many things are running through my mind. I'm thinking, oh my God, they're coming for me. That girl tracked my phone. She knows where I'm at. Oh my God. I look at Skillet and I'm like thinking in my head, you're a snitch, bitch. You're a snitch. They're coming for me. I'm freaking scared. I am so scared. I'm on and off the phone with Tommy because she keeps being mean, so I keep like hanging up on her, which I shouldn't have, but I was hanging up on her because when she gets in these moods, it's really hard to pull her out and like talk to her, you know? She just gets so upset. So I'll hang up, she calls back, hang up, call back. During this time, cops are there. Hang up, I text her, the cops are here. She's blowing up my phone like crazy. I am freaking scared. All these things are running through my mind, and I'm scared. I'm terrified like that. I'm like, I can't even talk. I tell Skillet, like, should we open the door? Yeah, why wouldn't we? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, I'm scared. Like, what if just open the door? And I'm like thinking in my head, of course you would say that, bitch, because you're good. Like, you're good. You're not going to be questioned. You're freaking good. I'm scared. I am texting Tommy and I'm like, the cops are here. The cops are here. I even text the ex, the cops are here. The cops are here, because I'm just like so scared. And Tommy is trying to call. She's calling, but I'm not picking up because I feel like I just like get frozen. I tell Skillet to stand up, that I'm gonna open the door. So I put the chain on, okay? So imagine like doing everything in slow motion. As I'm putting the chain on, all we hear is that, open the door. Like they are super pissed. They are annoying with it. They are just screaming, open the door. Heart is going boom, 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 boom. It's scared. I am terrified. And I said, give me a minute. Give me a minute. I look over at Skillet and I tell her like, I'm scared. And she goes, why are you scared? Like so annoyed. And in that moment, I still wanted to be like, because I really hated how we didn't share the same, you know what I mean? So she was very comfortable with authority, Jana, okay? So I am like looking at her and I'm like, I'm scared. Like I'm trying to show her like, hey, I'm taking my hard chingona mask off. I'm scared, bitch, I'm scared. And she's just like, open the door. Like if it's no biggie, you know? And it's just like, I know we're not doing anything or have anything that we're not supposed to, but it's just still like an eerie kind of like scary feeling. And she wasn't feeling that, which irritated me because I don't know. I wanted her to feel what I felt, but maybe it was a good thing that she was more on that level, because if we were both freaking out, I have freaked out with a friend and we were both like freaking chickens with their head cut off running around, and it was not good, okay? It was not good. We were both freaking each other out, looking at each other, crying all stupidly. It's not a good thing, okay? So maybe it's good that one of us is more calm than the other. So as I put the chain on, I'm still like, just, you know, like, I don't know if I should like answer. I don't know what I should do. And I'm like, what do you want? And they're like, open the door. I'm like, what do you want? And Skillet is like telling me like, open the door, open the door. And I'm like, no, no, no. Tammy texts, and as I'm about to open the door, I look down and she says, do not open the door. So the door is like halfway open, so I slam it on them, okay? And they're like, no, you're gonna have to open the door. I get scared. I'm like, give me a minute. They're like, okay, but you're gonna need to open this door. We can do this all night. And I'm like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. It felt like the kukui was on the other side, okay? I was like, oh, I'm scared. My hair looks crazy, y'all. And I felt like no one was getting how scared I was, because it's just me. Like when you have when you have bad anxiety, it's like literally like no biggie to everyone else who doesn't have it. For everyone else who doesn't, it's like very annoying, because they're like, just stop, like you're fine, you don't have to open the door. And I'm like, no, I have to open the door. So the officer behind the door is getting really upset that I'm taking my sweet time, and it kind of sounds like he's like kicking the door with his foot. And I'm getting kind of aggravated. I don't know why. That's like, Jane, calm down. But I'm like, hey! I screamed like that. And he's like, just open the door. We just want to talk. If you have nothing to hide, nothing's going on, open the door. And I'm like, we have nothing to hide. I don't want to open the door. You need to open the door. You need to open the door. You're giving us probable cause. And I'm like, so I call Tammy, and Tammy like she's like, you know, she's like book smart. So she's like, what? No, don't open the door. I'm gonna be there shortly. Don't open the door. You're fine. And I'm like, what they said? She's like, I said you're fine. Don't open the door. So she's like screaming. Skillet comes next to me and she's trying to open the door. And I'm like, what are you doing? She's like, just open the door. Why are you being so dramatic? You're gonna give them a reason to kick down the door. I'm like, there's no reason for them to kick down the door. And she's like, we're in a ghetto neighborhood. They are going to use whatever probable cause to kick down the fucking door. Lex, open the door. We're literally fighting over the door. She's trying to open it. I'm closing it. Open it. We're fighting. He's telling us to stop, that he is going to get in if we don't stop. And I'm like, get in. Like, what do you mean? Are you gonna kick down the door? He's like, did I say that? Did I say? So he's getting a little sassy with me. I am getting so scared, and I tell Skillet, like, dude, stop. Like, Tommy told me not to open the door until she gets here. And he says, who's Tommy? I'm not gonna answer any of your questions, because Tommy had told me, like, don't answer any questions, don't tell them anything, blah, 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 blah. And it literally felt so dramatic, everything going on. And I really hated how she wasn't understanding. Like, there was no reason for her to get up and fight me. We're literally like fighting over the door, like fighting over the door. And she's telling me just to open it, that like it's gonna be fine. The whole time I'm thinking in my head, it's because you're setting me up, bitch. You're setting me up for something. They have a warrant for like punching that bitch in her face. Like, oh my gosh, this is so scary. This is so terrifying. Like, why are you doing this? So much is like running through my mind, and he's on the other end, like, just open the door. Like, just open the door. And he's like getting really pissed. And it's making me feel like maybe if you can't chill to freak out, man. Like, he was getting super pissed, you guys. Like, it was really scary how he was like screaming. As I'm fighting her, she goes like that, gives me a good elbow to my rib, okay? And I was like like that. It was sucked out. It was crazy. It was crazy. So as she does that, and she's like, fuck, Alexis, like super mad. I go for her hair, and as I'm about to pull her back, she already has like, she's like this, and she's like opening it up, and she's like opening the door, and I let go, and it's him and it's another officer, and they're like, whoa, 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 what's going on here? Trying to like kind of diffuse the situation because like we're literally like fighting in front of them. She's like, you see, not a big deal. Like, she's trying to like play it off like, oh, you see, it's no biggie. The officer is like this. Yeah, we just want to know what's going on. We didn't listen to Tommy. She's already on her way. We should have listened. Like, why didn't we listen? And it really made me mad how she was very like, it's no big deal, yada, yada, yada. She doesn't have a care in the world, but it's because like there's people in her family that are like in the, you know what I mean? Not me though, you know what I mean? Like, did you not know my mom? So he starts asking us questions like, who's home? And all of that, and I tell him that my aunt just went to the store up the street and that she's already gonna be on her way back. That's why she didn't want me to open the door. And he's like, okay, how long have you guys been left alone? I was like, I just told you she just went up the street. She'll like, just like recently, she'll be right back. He's like, all right, okay, can we come in? No, it came out of both our mouths, you know? So I was like, so you know too, okay, whatever. He's like, is there any reason? Is there things that, you know, that you guys shouldn't be doing when you guys are alone? And I'm like, no, we're just watching a movie. He's like, okay, so there's no one else in the house. I was like, nope, just watching a movie. The other cop is just like kind of looking around. He kind of has like his foot like on like the step right there, you know, which I hate because it feels like they could just like power their way in, and it's so freaking scary because like, you think I have the strength to like push someone out? No, I'm a freaking teen. He's gonna be like, what are you doing? He's asking questions like, how often do we get left alone? And I told him, not often, very rarely. I usually go, but I didn't go because I'm on my period. Like, just bringing up like weird stuff. He's like, okay. Okay. The other officer tries to pull Skillet to the side, and Skillet's like, I'm good right here. I'm good right here. Okay, so where did you say she was again? And I tell him she's at the store up the street. You can call her. Here's her number. He's like, no, it's fine, we can wait. No one else is in the apartment. Or like, no one else is in the apartment. And I tell him like, you know, is there a reason why you guys came? Like, what is this regarding? He kind of chuckles because I guess that's like a mature word. I don't freaking know. Like, I was like thrown off. I hate when like adults laugh at stuff like that when you're like talking with them, because it's like, what's so funny, bitch? I didn't say anything funny. And he says that there was a noise complaint from the neighbor downstairs, that she says that we were having a party and that everything was getting a little bit out of control. There was like lots of stomping, lots of yelling, and lots of saying, leave right now, bitch. You need to leave, or else, bitch, leave now. And I'm kind of like laughing inside because I was like, oh yeah, that was me. Just kidding. But I was like, no, like, it's just me and her, we're watching a movie. I was like, she always complains, like, she's an older lady, so, you know, the noise gets to her. He's like, right. So I would feel more comfortable if you guys would like walk us throughout the apartment so we make sure that no one's in the house, and, you know, we're just doing our job. And I was like, okay, well, no. He was saying that like, she said that there's like a lot of people. I was like, well, it's just us. I was like, we were watching like a loud movie earlier, so maybe that could be it. But no, he's like, so how long have you guys been alone then, if it was earlier? And I was like, I don't really know. Like, she left like a little bit ago, so like, I'm not really sure. Like, he was trying to like, you know, do something. I was like, I don't know. And he kept asking if he could come in. I was like, you have to wait till my aunt gets here. Okay, and how long is that gonna be again? I was like, I don't know. If you want, you can wait out in your car. He's like, no, we can wait right here. We can keep talking until she gets here. And I'm like, okay, well, I don't feel comfortable. And he's like, yeah, but why don't you feel comfortable? It's because you're hiding something? Oh, my stomach was going skillet with her freaking loud mouth. She's like, no, you guys are just getting annoying with the questions when we've already answered them and we want to go already. Like, we want to watch our show. You can wait till she gets here. She's about to close the door, but that guy's foot is still here, his partner. And he's like, wait, we were not done with our questions. So she has it like this, and she's trying to go to put the chain on, and he pushes it a little bit more so she can't. So he's opening the door more, and I am so scared because right away I'm like, oh, this is where it happens. Something we're gonna get, like, we're not gonna know where we are. Like, I just start freaking out. So he kind of sees that. I'm like, so it looks like we're hiding something, but we're not. And he's like, hey, you okay there? And I'm like, I'm fine. I just would feel more comfortable if my aunt was here while you guys were talking to us. And I look at Skillet. I'm giving her an ugly look because it's like, bitch, it's your fault. Like, why did you open the door? So he has his foot right there. He's like this, and then he's like, well, we'll just you know, we'll just wait right here. I'm like, can we close the door? He's like, nope, you can't. And I was like, can you tell me why? And he says that something's off, something's suspicious, something's very suspicious, our behavior and stuff, whatever. And I'm like, oh. So I'm texting Tommy, and I tell her I opened the door. Oh my gosh, she's pissed. What? Why the f did you do that? Why are you stupid? And I'm like, I know, like, I'm so scared. Can you hurry up? So I'm texting her. He asks me, who are you texting? And I was like, my aunt, just checking in to see how close she is. And he's like, well, how close is she? I said, I don't know. She hasn't messaged back yet. He's like, I thought you said you were texting her. And I said, yes, I'm sending her the message, but she hasn't messaged me back yet. So I guess I sent her a message. And he goes, okay. And I was getting so freaking mad. Like, dude, okay. I text Tommy, and I'm like, they won't let us close the door. She's like, why? And I tell her because he says that we're being suspicious. And she's like, are you having your panic attack? And I was like, kind of. I'm trying to play it like low key, but I'm scared. I really am scared. So she's getting upset because she already knows how I get. And she tells me to tell them that we're going to close the door and that they should let us. And I was like, you're not listening. Like, they're not letting us close the door. She's like, try it again. I tell him, my aunt says that we have every right to close the door, and we can wait until, you have to wait until she comes back. And he's like, no, we're good right here. Doesn't move his foot. And I text her, and I'm like, he's not moving. She tells me that she is going to beat the living F out of me, that she can't believe that we opened the door. And I was like, it wasn't me. It wasn't me. It feels like forever. It's like a good 15 minutes before she comes. He has the door, has his foot right there, and he's cool with just like looking at us, and he's trying to like look around. Nothing. Skillet was messaging her, someone in the family. I can't give too much information. Someone in the family that she's really close to, and she's like telling them the situation, and she's like, just cooperate. You guys will be fine. Whatever. If it doesn't, name drop. She's like, okay. So she's texting me, showing me like, look. She's like telling me like, calm down, like, you'll be fine. Just calm down. I get anxiety because like how scared I was, and I feel like it was so unnecessary. But the officer, I guess, was like just doing his job, because what if something was going on? And he was just making sure that like we were good. But I just didn't like it because of how, oh my gosh, how scared I was, you know? Look at these two. Ooh, I think I'm gonna go with the gold. Finally, I hear the car door close, and I hear like mumbling, right? And it is Sugar Spice, and it is Tommy, and she's with another person. Right away, I just hear her say, excuse me, what is it that you want? What is it that she starts going off right away. He moves his boot. As soon as he moves his boot, I close the door because like I'm like, I'm just scared. You could just hear them talking outside. He's asking if he can come in and look in the apartment, that we had suspicious behavior. And she says, well, of course, that we are teenagers and we're scared that their behavior is probably like scaring us. She goes on to say like other things as well. Tommy opens the door. Me and her are talking to the officers. She's saying like, yep, this is my niece, blah, 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 blah. He's asking again, one more time, like, well, we can just come in then if there's nothing to hide. Like, I just don't see the problem. She said, I don't care. I don't care. You guys will make a problem. I don't want you guys to come in. He keeps trying for a little bit, and then eventually him and his partner just leave. As soon as the door closes, Tommy is pissed, okay? Freaking pissed. She's like, gosh, they were such assholes. I can't believe it. I can't believe that they wanted to come in. What the She's like super mad because she had a friend that she had brought, and they were trying to like ID him and stuff and ask him for his information, and Tommy was going on a whole thing of like, you don't need to know his information. He doesn't have to give you his information. It was like a whole thing where it's like it could go left so quick, and it's very, very scary because you just never know what could happen. He was like just trying to walk down to like a park and stuff, like because he didn't want to deal with the cops anymore. And they were like, whoa, bud, just stay right here. And it just had everyone on edge of like, oh, what could go wrong? What's happening? And it just gave like this really icky feeling, right? She was pissed. So the door closes. She goes off on me. She asks me, why the f did I open the door? And I don't care at this point, because I was like, she did it. I was like, she opened the door, elbowed me, and Sugar and Spice are like, you elbowed her, like mad. I'm like, yeah, right here. It was red, y'all, where she like going ganas gave it to me, you know? Sugar gets all up in her face, like pretty much just like smelling her, and was telling her like what was her deal, like why she opened it. Just because she got privilege don't mean that like she can just go and put me in these situations. Like, what's wrong with her? Skillet changed her tune. She was like, no, I didn't mean to elbow her. It's just like when I was like trying to go, and like I guess I did it. I don't know, like I was just scared. I was scared too, and was like trying to explain herself, but she kept like tripping over her words. Spice wasn't really like letting up. She was like not having it. She hated how she was like trying to explain it and blame it on me, like if it was my fault, or like no, like it was her. And I kind of felt bad because she felt like super duper uncomfortable, and she kept like looking at me like with her hand out, like, yeah, like come on, like tell her, Lex, tell her. I was just like, I was not for it. I was like, I'm not going to, because you were acting real freaking weird earlier in the tanga, real weird. So as Spice is like in her face, questioning her, asking her like, why is she moving funny? Tommy makes her way to the restroom, and she calls me over, and she's like, Alexis, come here. I hate, even till this day, my name being called like that. Like, even like whoever it could be, when they call my name like that, I get so freaking like, oof, because it just reminds me of like all the time, like, you know why you're calling me, because like obviously something's wrong, but it's like a sense of like I'm getting in trouble. I hate it so freaking much. So I go over to the restroom. Tommy has the shirt. What the f is this? And I'm like, what do you mean? And she's like, don't play stupid with me. What the f is this? And I was like, what do you mean? She's like, what the f is this? And like pushes it like to my face like that. It smelled like straight culo, okay? And I'm not even trying to be like a bitch. Like, it literally smelled like straight culo. And I was like, I don't know. And she's like, did you wipe your ass with it? Like, what is this? I'm like, I don't know. I was like, ask Skillet. She's like, why the ask Skillet? I let you come in, so you're responsible. So why does it smell like this? And I was like, I don't know. So Tommy's holding the freaking shirt, goes out to the sala. So she's holding the shirt like this, and she's like walking, and she's mad. Okay, so picture Skillet's face. She's like sunking in, like what, like, because the girls are yelling at her, you know. So she's kind of getting ganged up on her. I kind of feel bad a little bit, and she throws it at her, and she's like, what the f this, and throws it at her. Skillet is like, oh, yeah, Alexis said I could wear it. Looks at me right away. I was like, no, I didn't. And she's like, yeah, you did. Like, I asked you, and you said, yeah, like, go ahead, make yourself comfortable. No, I didn't. I was like, no, I didn't. Tommy is so mad. She's like, I'm so tired of people using my whether it be to or wearing my clothes. It got so quiet. So I said that Tom, and she's like, yo, that was low. And I just kind of put my head down, because I was like it's just weird. Like, we all know, but it's another thing when you point it out, you know. And she's like, no, I don't give a fuck. I'm done sparing feelings. I'm done. She's pissed because she's like, what weird bitch wears someone else's clothes? Who does that? Who does that funky shit? And so she's really mad, where I'm like, dude, like, yeah, like, it's weird. Even I thought it was weird. She tells Skillet to clean it, and Skillet's like, with what? Like, how? I don't go. Figure it out. Don't tell me how. How are you gonna use someone's stuff and then you're gonna, how? Figure it out, bitch. I'm just left there because I feel like awkward. Like, I just felt like awkward. I just felt like, oh, okay, so everyone just knows. Okay, I felt uncomfortable. Sugar just kind of looked at me and she like kind of did like a head nod, and I was just like, because it's just awkward when like how she did it. So I was like, okay, whatever. What was me, bitch? So Skillet is in the sink and she's using like a ton of soap. Like, it was dramatic. It was so freaking dramatic how much, like, just, you know how girls put like excessive amount of foundation for TikTok and stuff like that because like it gets lots of likes and stuff. Imagine that much soap on one shirt. Okay, so she's like scrubbing it, and she's like just scrubbing, and she's like all mad, and I'm just sitting there because like I don't even know what to do. I don't know where to go. And I'm just kind of like, I feel like I'm in timeout. Like, I feel like I did something, and I'm just like, I'm just gonna go over here. So she calls my name, and I am so freaking scared. I go into the room, and Tommy is pissed. Okay, and I'm scared because I already know I'm gonna get yelled at. She tells me, what's that smell? I was like, I don't know. She's like, what do you mean you don't know? What's that smell? I was like, I don't know. So she tells me, you don't know what it smells like? I was like, no. Oh, you being smart with me? I was like, no, Tony, I'm not being smart with you. I don't know. She had the dude there while she was questioning me, so it just felt kind of awkward. Like, how am I gonna be like, oh yeah, it smells like this in front of him, because I just don't know. And I'm so used to being around like freaking cochinos that I'm like, I don't even want to like anything, right? So she tells me that we better not have had anyone over in her stuff, touching her stuff, because it smells like something in here. And I was like, yeah, I don't know. So as I'm talking to her, Skillet comes in and she hands her this shirt soaked, where like water is still dripping from the shirt. She goes, here. Like, if she had every right to like have attitude, and I'm like, something is wrong with you. Something really is wrong with you. What do you expect me to do with it? I don't know. It's not mine. Here. Like, still had attitude. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Sugar and Spice come down the hall, and like her like kind of like changes, but she's still like here. She's like, no, I don't want it. Go dry it. How am I supposed to do that? I don't know. Use a blow dryer. Dry it. Okay. And I'm just like, what is up? Like, oh my god, like, is it because she knows Tommy won't touch her? Like what is it, you know? So Sugar and Spice go into the restroom, and they're like watching her and like being like very bully like with her. I make eyes with Spice, like it's not even cool like what they're doing. I don't like it. I've never liked it. I don't think it's funny. I don't think it's cool, especially like to gain up. I just don't think it's cute. Spice looks at me and she's like, let's stop. Slams the door. So now they're in the restroom with Skillet, and they're still talking to her. She's just saying, okay, what? And then the okays just eventually stop, because she probably was like, I'm just gonna shut up. I go out into the sala, and I'm kind of just like sitting there, and I get another message. Did she tell you yet? And I said, yep, because I don't know what the heck. He then replies, it just happens. So I'm like sweating, because I'm like, oh, like, what do you mean it just happens? Like, what are you talking about? And I reply, excuses. I'm trying to play the card right, because I'm scared, because I'm like, what if I say the wrong thing? And he's like, oh, you don't know, you're just playing a game, blah, 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 blah. As I'm still messaging him, I get other messages coming in saying, you like to your stepdad, that's why your mom doesn't care about you, she chose him. Some very like very toxic, nasty messages. And I'm kind of like if I got hit in the rib all over again, because I'm like, what the, like, what is going on? So I'm like, who's this? You don't gotta know who this is. Just know that we know you're sick, you're disgusting. How could you do that to your mom? No wonder why your mother doesn't love you. You're a street rat. And just like saying some really hurtful things. And I'm like so confused because I'm like, they could be coming from Elizabeth or they could be coming from freaking Sam, because Sam has said like nasty stuff like that. So I'm kind of like, what is going on? And as I'm like, what is going on? Tommy is like, Alexis, screams really, really, really loud. And I like jump up and I run over because I'm like, oh my God, what is it? And she has a box and she's like, where the is my, and I'm like, I don't know, because like we didn't go through it. I don't do that. Like I've always been scared because of like how my mom gets, and you guys already know the one time that I did. I think I did a story time on it. I'll link it here if you guys want to know my experience. But yeah, super crazy. I think I'm allergic to that stuff. That's a real thing. I never knew that was a real thing of being allergic to it, but it's very real. And I think that is me. So I'm like, what? I don't even touch that. It's like, shut the up. I don't believe you. Where the fuck is it? So she's like screaming on the top of her lungs. Like she is super pissed and she wants to know where the her stuff is at. And I was like, I swear, I'm like, you can check me right now. She's like, shut the who the fuck did you have in my bedroom? And I'm like, nobody, because I was with him the whole time. There's no way, but at the same time, like I can't put anything past him. So I tell her like, nobody. And she's like, you're lying to me, you're lying. And I have to keep telling her like, no, like I swear. She's like, I don't believe you. That's some grimy shit. I took you into my house and this is how you do me. This is how you repay me. And I'm getting kind of scared because she's like in my face, and like I told you, she's choked me out before, so I was like, it's gonna happen. So she tells me she's gonna give me 3 seconds to tell her who was in her room. And I'm like, Tommy, I swear I didn't take it. She's like, no, now you're switching it from you didn't take it to no one was in my room. So who was in my room? And I was like, Tommy, like I didn't take nothing. Who was in my room? And I'm like, I didn't take it. And now she's like yelling at me. I hear the restroom door open and Sugar is like, hey, she said she didn't take it. She's all, shut the fuck up. Where is it? And it was a lot, I guess. And I don't really know how to do the equations of like ounces, all this stuff like that. I'm telling you, I don't know about that stuff. Like, it's, to me, it's like, there's no reason for me to like to do that stuff, right? Because I'm like, I'm scared. I don't know any of that. And if anything, maybe I would have been a little bit happier. But I was like, I swear, Tom, like I didn't. I was so freaking scared. And Skillet yells out, she didn't even take it. She didn't even go in the room. And she tells her to shut the up. That where is it? She's like, Alexis, I'm telling you right now to tell me where is it. And I'm like, I don't have it. I don't know what you're talking about. And I tell her like, I don't do that. Like I don't do that stuff. She focused the attention on Skillet and she's like, did you take it? She's like, nope, I swear I didn't. She's like, I don't even know what you had in there. I tell her, I'm like, she didn't even go in there. She's like, how do you know? She went to the restroom and put on my gown. She made herself at home. So how am I supposed to know that she didn't touch my stuff? Valid, because I don't know. But I'm like, I don't know. I was like, to be honest, like, I don't know. But I didn't take it. You can go through our stuff. I didn't take it. So she goes like that and has Spice like go through our stuff. And I'm just like so scared because I was like, oh my gosh, I hope she didn't take any of it, because if it's in her bag, like they are going to like beat our ass. Like it's not a joke. Like this is scary. People don't take, you know, that lightly. You know what I mean? My heart is like pounding. I'm looking at Skillet to see if she would, you know, I was like, she's like, oh, I didn't, you know, because it's, oh, it's getting real. So I'm just sitting there like waiting, and they're going through it, like not even like nonchalantly. They're like dumping our stuff out, like just dumping and like just looking, going through it. They're kind of doing it like in a panic, because I think of the way Tommy was like yelling, like she was livid, y'all. She wanted her stuff, and it made me so scared, because you like think like, oh yeah, they wouldn't touch me, like they wouldn't do that, you know. People do crazy things for stupid things, you know. So I'm kind of like scared, and I'm about to go on my phone because I was really like, I'm gonna call my mom. She's gonna come beat your ass, because the way she was freaking acting, she snatched it so quick. She like snatched it. She's like, no, you're not getting out of this one. I was like, Tommy, like, I wouldn't do that to you. Like, I was so, like, hurt. She's like, how am I supposed to know? How am I supposed to know? She's like, I don't know how you do things. You let her wear my shit. You don't even tell me. You're over here having a house party. I was like, we didn't have a house party. Like, I swear. Like, that old lady is just freaking tripping. She's like, no, I don't even believe it. I don't even believe it. She's like, where is it? I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. And she like has, I'm trying to show you, like, she has like a box. She's like, where is it? Where is it? And her eyes are like so glossed over where she's just like gone. And the guy that she's with was like, hey, she said she didn't have it. Like, maybe you misplaced it. She snaps her neck. She's like, I keep track of I did not misplace it. She's like, did you take it? So she starts turning on him. He's like, well, yo, chill. I didn't take it. I'm just saying. She's like, no, because you were in here. Like, so she starts going on him. And I'm just like sitting there like, I don't even know. Scarlett is still blow drying the shirt. Sugar Spice come back and they're like, she don't got it. They don't got it. And they kind of like ask her, like, is it at so-and-so's place? Scarlett gets kind of like choked up, kind of. Like, it sounds like she's crying because she's scared. Because it's a scary situation. So she's like, like that. Like, she's like trying to like catch her tears. And it kind of just gets kind of quiet. And she's like, no, I didn't misplace it. I know where I had my stuff. I'm not stupid. Where is it? And so I just tell her that, like, yeah, I did have someone over, but I don't think he would take it. And she gets in my face and she's like, dun, dun, like onto my forehead. And she's like, stupid little girl, in my forehead. And I was just like, I see, I don't think he would take it. I don't think he would take it. And she's like, and what were you doing in my room? And I told her that we were just talking. And she's like, it doesn't smell like you were just talking. And I was like, yes, we were. She tells me that to ask him right now and that she wants it back. I was like, I don't think he took it. Ask him right now. I don't know what kind of stuff it was. I don't know what kind of stuff it is. I don't know. So I text him and I'm like, hey, did you take anything out of this room? What room? I was like, the room that we were in. What room were we in? Like, he was very like annoying about it. And I was like, please stop playing games. Like, would you take anything? Like, I'm getting blamed for it. I'm really, really scared. And he's like, I didn't take anything. I was like, on my life. He's like, on your life. And I was like, are you sure? Because I'm getting in trouble and I'm not gonna have a place to stay. And he goes, I'll just tell my sister if you can stay with me. I was like, no, like, did you take anything out of this room? Like, even if like you can give me a place to stay, like, it's like a respect thing. Like, I respect her. Like, did you take anything out of this room? And he replies, it wasn't a lot. Everything on my body was like, oh, I was so like, I trusted you. But like, really, Lex, could you? No, it was just one of those things. Like, you think you know someone, but you really don't. Like, Lex, if he didn't have like morals and was like cheating on you left and right, what makes you think like he wouldn't like still, like, what's wrong with you? I don't know. Like, explain to me. I don't know. So she's like right there as I'm reading it. And she tells me to tell him that that's $200 right there. That she wants the money. And so I tell him she wants $200. And he goes, she's tripping. She's not getting anything. I'll just take it back. And I was like, no, like, she wants the $200. He's like, no, she's tripping. I'm not paying her that much for it. That's not even all that. So he tries to like talk about her stuff. And she is so mad. No. Like, he's not, no. And then he tells me, like, why is she tripping? Like, it wasn't even a lot. And my dumbass tells her, he says it wasn't even a lot. Ooh. Ooh. She was so mad. She snatched me up by my hair and she was telling me, it doesn't matter what it was. I'm like this. How much it was or whatever. To her, it's 200. And I'm like, Tommy, like, please chill out, like, relax, like, please. Because I was getting scared because I was like, is she like playing it up because this dude is here? Like, what? And like, I tell her, I'll see if my mom can get it. I try to throw my mom in there to like maybe calm her down. Like, oh yeah, this is so-and-so's kid. What am I doing? Or whatever, you know? She says that she doesn't have to answer to my mom, that there's someone she has to answer to. Like, you think I'm scared of your mom? No, I'm not. So I tell him, like, please just like come back, drop it off, because like, it's scary. Like, she's so pissed off about it. He's like, that's what I said I was gonna do. So I tell her that he said he's gonna pay. And she tells me that she like wants it, like she's not joking, she's not playing, blah 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 blah. I tell him just to come drop it off and that's it. And he's like, no, they're gonna jump me, blah 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 blah. I was like, no, they're not, just like come drop it off and that's it. She tells me that he better be bringing it. I'm like, oh yeah, he will, because I'm like super scared, but at the same time I'm like, that's Tommy, like what's going on, like, you know, what's going on. So Tommy tells me to go out there and wait and let me know when he comes. I'm like, okay. Skillet is still blow drying the freaking shirt. She comes out and she sits with me and she just starts to like air dry it, because there's only like so much that she can do with the blow dryer that like I wasn't doing it. And she like tells me like was it a lot? And I'm like, I don't know, because like the way he was making it seem like was like, oh, it's no biggie. It's still wrong that he took it, but the way that she was making it seem like, oh, he took all of it, you know what I mean? And how she said $200, it was like really scary, where it's like, how much is it? And then it just felt like, okay, like this is some like gangsta stuff, this is like really scary. He takes like a good like 30 minutes to come, drops it off and just books it. Okay, he books it and he has it in like this baggie. It looked like a good amount, okay, like this, like a good amount like this. Okay, I don't know if that's how much stuff is, I don't know, but it looks like a good amount. So like I grab it, I take it to the bag, and she throws it right back at me. I told you it was 200, that's not it, he could have swapped it, blah, 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 blah. I was like, I don't know, like this is all he brought. And she's like, don't play these games with me, Alexis, don't play these games with me, don't play these games with me. And I tell her like that's all he got, and she's like, you don't think that's disrespectful that he came in my house and he wanted to take my stuff and then he want to play in your face? You don't think that's disrespectful? And I'm like, yes, it shouldn't be disrespectful. I was so scared because like he didn't care like what was gonna happen. He didn't even like call my mom like, hey, I messed up, or anything. He was just like, I don't care. But he was scared enough where it's like, oh, do I have to take it back? She was like, in my face. Spice is like looking at it. He's like, I think it is the same. Like maybe he took a little off the top. They're looking at it. They are doing this whole thing. And I'm like, I don't know nothing about that world. I don't know nothing about it. I don't know, like, my brothers have their card and stuff and they get super like excited to like show me all this, like, look, it has this and it looks like this and it's fuzzy. I don't know. Talk about makeup, purses, and candles, I'm with it. Other stuff, I don't know what that is. So she is like having the girls like look over it and stuff, and they're like, yeah, I probably just took her a little bit off the top, like chill, Tammy. Like she didn't know. She seems like she didn't know. And she's like, no, I hate how she wants to downplay, like she don't know what's going on, but it was probably her plan. She's pathetic like that. She probably gave him that to come over. And I was like, no, like that's so mean. I was like, damn, that's what you think of me? Okay, like, yeah, I can be pathetic at times, but damn. She like really hurt. Skillet is still like trying out this stupid thing and gives it to her. And she's like, here, it's dry. I'm gonna get going. She's like, it's fine, throw it away. You had me wash it dry. She's like, yeah, throw it away. She didn't even question her. She was like, okay. She goes and throws it away. She's like, no, outside. Okay, all right. So Tommy still has my phone and she's like, what's going on with this? And like, you know, throws it to me. And she's like, why are they saying that? I was like, I don't know. And she's like, what do you mean you don't know? I was like, yeah, I don't know why they're saying that. The messages that I was getting. And she's like, what do you mean? I was like, I don't know. Like, I don't know what to tell you. She's like, so they're just saying it out of nowhere? Like, who told them that? I was like, I don't know. Skillet is in the back and she's trying so close to like get to the door. Spice clocks it. So she goes right in front of the door and she like folds her arms. And she's like, where are you going? She's like, oh, I'm gonna go throw it away and like my bride's gonna be coming. And she's like, you can wait. I'm sitting there and I'm like looking up at Tommy. I was like, I don't know. She's like, what do you mean you don't know? And I was like, I don't know like where they're getting that information from. She's like, it has to be someone close to you. Like people don't just randomly just like know this stuff. Like it has to be someone close to you. Think. And I know what she's implying. Okay, everybody can read the room. Okay, they're not a stupid. Everyone can read the room, but I am like, it can go left. We see all these things all the time on shows, how like one thing can turn to like a crazy thing. And I know that I had the upper hand in that moment, especially with Sugar, Spice, and Tommy there, that it could have went left. It could have went left. It just didn't. It felt icky. I don't care how stupid that sounds. I don't care how like, oh, this and that. It just felt icky. I don't like that. I don't like feeling that on my chest. So I was just kept playing stupid, like, I don't know. She's like, you know. And I just kept like looking down because I didn't want to look up at her because I'm scared. I was like, So Tommy asks me for the number that was texting me. So I give her the number that's texting me, and she starts calling. These girls start answering. They're kind of like hee, giggling. And Tommy goes, who's this? And they're like, you called me, who's this? You know, being sassy with her. I'm blah, 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 blah. Why do you guys keep messaging my niece? Who's your niece? Alexis. They start giggling. They tell her, she hit my friend. And Tommy's like, I don't give a what she did. Why are you guys messaging her? This one girl in particular, who sounded like Elizabeth, is like, we're just playing with her. Why you guys message her? I can get you guys for harassment. Leave her the alone. And she's like, we're just playing with her. It's not that serious. And she's like, what do you mean it's not that serious? My niece is telling me that your mom is trying to get a hold of her. She's like, no, she's not. Now, Skillet looks like she is sweating. So the girls hang up. Tommy gets mad. She's trying to call back. They're not answering. I get a message that says cry baby. And now Tommy is getting pissed off because she don't like to play these games. And she's calling them. And she's like, answer. They're not answering. There was 2 numbers that messaged me. So she calls the other number and they're like, hello, giggling, thinking it's funny. And she's telling them that she's going to get them for harassment, that she got their numbers. And they're like, these aren't even our real numbers. She's like, yeah, they are. And I know where you live. I know where your mom lives. Like, my mom never called you. She's like, my niece said that your mom was talking to her. She's like, no, it wasn't her. Hangs up. She is fuming, y'all. She is pissed. It's not something that she wants to be doing. Talking on the phone and trying to chase down, like, talking to them and having like a conversation, right? So she keeps messaging, answer. The girls are not answering. The girls continue to message me. Cry baby. Tommy turns to Skillet and she goes, what's Elizabeth's number? And Skillet goes, I don't feel comfortable giving you that. She goes, what did you say? She goes, her number is, and gives her number. And I kind of like chuckled because I'm like she really tried it. And it was like, no. So she gives her number. Elizabeth answers and she's like, hello. She hears Tommy's voice. Tommy tells her, so why are you telling Alexis all of this? And she tells her, she punched me in my face. And Tommy's like, okay, so are your parents pressing charges? What's going on? So I can take her to where she needs to go. She said, no one's pressing charges. She tells her, so who was talking to my niece then? When you said that she was going to have to go and talk to the cops. And she goes, it was my sister. So her voice kind of changed where she was probably like getting scared. Like, oh, how did she get my number? You know, like, it's getting real. So Elizabeth instantly folds, and she is apologizing to Tommy that it was just a prank, and that she's sorry that it went a little bit too far. It was her older sister who got on the phone and was pretending to be their mom, and to please not go to the cops. Like, she was scared. Like, Tommy was talking to her like all this and all that, you know, like super scary, very like gangsta, like yelling at her like, you think this is game? You think that I can't find you? Like, I just got your number within seconds. You don't think that I know where you live? You don't think I don't know what school you go to? And was just like telling her, she's like, I'm sorry, like just yelling at her, which is like crazy because I would have been like, mom, you know what I mean? But she was like scared, and she says, I'll tell them to stop. Like, I'm so sorry. Like, I'll tell them to stop. How did you get her information? Like, who told you this? And she goes, Skillet. Instantly, she just hung up, looks at Skillet, and Skillet is just heads down like this. And I'm like, I knew it. Like, I knew it. It makes me like emotional because it was like, I knew, but like it just like really hit me where I'm just like, these girls were being so gross and I didn't even know them like that. You know what I mean? And they were like saying some like really, really nasty stuff. They thought it was funny. They made like a lot of like stupid rumors. Like, even when I went like back to school, like when I tried to go to like an alternative school, and like people knew of me because of like the stupid rumors that were like being spread. And it was just like really dumb having to like fight with people like I'm the victim. Like, no, they're like, oh, you seduced your stepdad. And it was just like really screwed up because it was like, I didn't want to cry because like even the stupid kids couldn't even understand like That's like gross. That's like not okay. They were like, oh yeah, she did do that. That's why she doesn't come to school. And oh, that's why her mom went crazy. Like, kids are like super hateful. And I just sucked that like it came from Skillet, where it's just like, and then it like sucked because like I didn't know how to break the chain with Skillet, because I was just like, oh, it's not her fault. Like, it just got out of control. Like, I was always like, it's not her fault, you know, because I loved her so much. And I'm like, that connection that I have with her, it's just like, it was so deep that I was willing to look past all that. And so it just like really sucked. And it really sucked how Tommy knew all of it, but she was like trying to show me a lesson of like, you see. And so it just like kind of just like hurt. And Skillet's just standing there and she's like, I that's not what I told them. And she's like stumbling over her words. I just didn't like understand why. Like, I didn't understand why. And I would always try to give her the benefit of the doubt of like, oh, she probably said it this way, they twisted it this way. And I was like mad that Tommy hung up so quick, because I was like, what if she would have asked him this way and they would have been like, oh, well, no, she said it like this. You know, I was trying to give benefit of the doubt like so bad. And Tommy was just like, no, stop. And I was just like so tired of like losing people, where I was trying to like hold on. And like, I just looked at her and I was like, why? And she was like, you stopped wanting to like hang around me, and I heard that you were saying stuff about me too. And I was like, what did you hear? From who? Like, we'll call them right now. And she was like people. Am I like, who's like people? She's like, just like stuff. I'm not gonna sit here and go through like every single little thing. And Spice gets in her face and she says, but did she say any of like your secrets that you told her? And Skillet just kind of like got quiet. So she starts kind of getting like defensive, and she's like, you probably did tell my whatever. And I'm like, no, I didn't. Like, there's like no reason for me to go out of my way and to tell like your secrets and stuff. Like, what are you talking about? That like, why would I do that? And she's like, well, I don't believe it. Spice gets in her face and she like tells her like, just because she's like a crappy person doesn't mean that like I would be a crappy person, and like tell her secrets. Skillet was like, I'm sorry. Like, I'm sorry, Lex. Like, I didn't mean for it to get like that, or for it to get that out of control, that she's sorry. And she's like, I'm really, really sorry. And it was so awkward, because I wanted to like forgive her and be like, it's okay. But Tommy wasn't gonna allow it. Tommy was like, you're not sorry. You're not sorry. You would have been fine. Those girls keep calling and calling and messaging and messing with Alexis, and her thinking that the cops are after her. They're like, you're sick. They're like, what kind of sick person does that? Like, you're sick. You're sick. And she's like, I tried telling her that it was probably a prank. Like, I tried to like, you know, tell her that like, no, they're probably just playing a prank. And Tommy was like telling her that like she's sick, that like she needs help, that like that's sick, that like who does that, who messes with their friend like that, and then to come to the house and stuff and like still want to be around, that like that's nasty. She was saying these other words, I don't know how to pronounce them, but she was just pretty much telling her that like she was just like a very sick individual, and that she needed help, that she really, really needed help, that like it's scary, like people like her and stuff. And Skillet was like, okay. And Spice was telling her that she's probably self-projecting her insecurities, and that like that's not okay to be like that. And they were kind of trying to talk to her, like give her like a pep talk, but it wasn't doing what they thought it was doing. Okay, she said that she was sorry, and Spice asks like, what all did you say about like Alexis and stuff? And she just told them that what happened with like my stepdad and stuff, and that my mom was still wanting to work it out with my stepdad, and that she pretty much didn't care about me, and pretty much that my mom pretty much didn't believe what happened, and that she was cool with staying with my stepdad, which that's her opinion. That's okay, cool, whatever. Like it, like yeah, like it's very believable. But the whole like seducing my stepdad and stuff, she was like, I didn't say that part. I did not say that part. She's like, Alexis, I hope you believe me. I did not say that part. They put that thing together themselves. Like, I did not, and I don't think that's what happened. And I was just like so grossed out because part of me wanted to believe her, and the other part was like, don't believe her, don't believe her. She probably told them that. She probably told them that. And it just sucked because I was so freaking scared. And then to find out that like my best friend was like one of my worst enemies was so heartbreaking, because I would literally do anything for her, like anything. It was like stupid how loyal I was to her, where she would be like, let's go jump off that bridge right now, I'd be like, all right, let's go do it, let's go do it. Or like the people like I have like freaking cut off for her, people who I've gotten into arguments and fights because of her, like it was literally like I just did not understand it. And I kept asking her like, why, and she was just like, I don't know, like I thought you were talking about me. I was like, from who? Like honestly, just tell me from who. And she's like, I don't even know. I was like, you just said that like so and so told you something, and you're not even telling me who that so and so is. And she's like, I don't know. She was just shutting down, like she wasn't giving me any information. And I was like, what are you talking about? Like, what are you talking about? Like, I know your deepest, darkest secrets. And I never, like, it never crossed my mind to be like, let me go write this on my space. Let me go tell so and so. Or I could like hit up like this person, that person, that person, be like, she did this, she did that, she did this. It didn't cross my mind or my heart to like want to do that to you, because I never would want to burn that bridge with you, because I would think like, oh, I might lose you even if we weren't talking. I was loyal to you without you even knowing. Like, I don't get it. She's like, I don't know. And it like bugged me so bad, because I was like, how don't you know? Like, I just want to know. So I'm like crying and stuff, trying to like talk. Have you ever tried to talk through your nose being so stuffy from crying? It's hard. It's like you're suffocating. Like, it's really, really hard. So I'm like crying because like these girls were writing me like nasty things. So it was just, it made me feel some type of way. And it made me feel like, oh my God, is that like what people really think? That like I seduced him and that's why like I'm the outcast? Like, how could people think that? Like, I was 4, I was 5, I was 10. Like, that's what people really think? Like, I could overpower a grown-ass man? Like, it just like made me sick. And like it really like messed with me, because it was like not even true, you know? And it just sucks because like I would cry to Skillet and I would tell her like how nasty I felt. Like, I could be having a good day, and out of nowhere, even though I was wearing like baggy clothes, baggy pants, I still felt like disgusted, like, oh, I showed too much. Or like if we would go to a store and like an older gentleman, like old, like grandpa vibe, was like looking at me or giving me eyes, I was like, ugh, get asco. Like, I felt so disgusted. Like, I literally told her every single freaking thought. Like, even when I felt like too cute, too sexy, I felt like, nope, you can't feel that way because you're gonna get attention. Or like, how dare you feel that way? How dare you feel cute? How dare you feel beautiful? Like, no, you're tainted. Like, that's how much like I told her so many things. And it was just like, there'd be times where she would read things out of my diary and like we would talk about them, because like it was too hard for me to even talk about it. I wanted her to read it so she could like, oh yeah, this is what's going on. Like, we were so close on so many things that you guys don't even know about. And it was just like a straight like uppercut to the face, where I was just so confused. Like, I'm over here like loving you, and this whole time like you hate me. Like, you hate me. And I'm over here like oblivious to it. Like, I'm just like la 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 la, and you really have some type of like nasty energy towards me. And I'm like, mi amiga, no. I'm like, so, and it just sucks because I feel like I just always got that end of the stick, you know what I mean? Of like, oh, you're good. Oh yeah, it happened, but what about this? And that's like kind of like what I'm dealing with now, without going too much into detail. Like, it's none of my siblings or anything. It's someone like really close, like in the family, was recently hurt, okay? Hurt, and the way my grandma reacted to it hurt. And I don't know how to untrigger myself, because the way my grandma reacted, I was like, damn. So you do have it in you to care. You're just pick and choose. And I felt like for the longest, and even when I was talking to you guys and I was doing story times, and in my story times I would tell you like how she would like act towards me. A lot of you guys were like, why are you still talking to her? Why are you still talking to her? And I tell you guys like, oh, it's because like we're good now. And we were good, but we were only good when it was convenient or it was just a good day. But if I'm being honest, I'm the only one who has been constantly trying, like constantly. So it really hurt and stung when this family member went through something, and very traumatic, and I was like, hooray, because they got the reaction of protection. That is amazing. That is amazing. And the reaction I would get was silence, which sucked. And I still had to be around the person, you know, and it made it really hard. And lots of other things have happened from like last month and this month, and I finally am okay with just like cutting the ties, because they're okay with me not being in their life. If I'm not calling or giving, they're fine with me being over here, and that's okay. There is some times where I get like those like random phone calls and stuff like that, but it's because I feel like I am a very good therapist. Just kidding. No, I feel like when no one else wanted to listen, I was the one to like pick up and be on those 2-3 hour phone calls and put things on hold. And even though like I knew like it wasn't okay to like put my stuff on hold, I felt good being called on, because I was like, oh, I matter. But in reality, I don't to them. And I always tell you guys, if they wanted to, they would. But sometimes it's easier giving advice than taking your own advice. So it took me a minute, but I now am doing what I'm saying, and I'm cutting, and that's the one that kind of stung a little bit more. So it took me a while to do this story time too, because in a way it felt like what was happening then was like happening now, you know what I mean? So it was kind of a little bit like, so I took some time, did my crying. It was like ugly, but I'm okay. And I know I cry here and there when I do my story times, but I'm okay. It's just, it's an emotion that one day I'll be able to talk about with crying. It's just a really deep wound where we're not able to go over yet without feeling like the scar tissue. You know what I mean? Like you can still feel it. Or like when it gets cold and it kind of aches a little bit more. I guess that's how it feels. But yeah, so back to her. I am just like quiet and like shutting down, and Vice turns around and asks me like, do you want us to beat her ass? Do you want us to beat her ass? And I'm like, no. And I was like, she'll press charges so quick and it won't do nothing for me. Like it doesn't bring me satisfaction. And Spice says like, I'm good with catching a charge. Like I'm good with catching a charge. Don't worry about me. Don't worry about me, sweetheart. Don't worry about me. And puts her hands in between and just like, you know, looking down. And Skillet is just like, I deserve it. I deserve it. Which we know damn well, you're gonna scream bloody murder. So like be quiet. Like you wouldn't just take it on the chin and be like, I deserve that. No. Vice is just like still hovering over her, telling her some like mean, nasty stuff. And Tammy tells Sugar and Spice like, just get her out. Just get her out. Just get her out. Get her out. Gillian, she turns around. She's like, I really am sorry. Alexis, like, I really am sorry. Like it went a lot farther than I thought it was going to. Like, I'm very sorry. and she's kind of like crying, and I just felt like it wasn't genuine. I feel like she must have been pinching herself very, very hard. It just felt, I don't know, it felt like it wasn't, like I've seen her cry, and this one just felt like she's just probably scared. But they walk her out right there, like by the stairs. She leaves, they walk back in, and they're kind of just like, you're good, like you're good, don't even let it get to you, like you know what's true, you know what's true, you know what's right, you know what's wrong. And I'm like, I know, but like still they're like, no, don't even give it a second thought, don't even dwell on it. And bitches are grimy, bitches are dirty. Like that's why you gotta make sure that like you're always good, and you're not depending on nobody. And just giving me like a whole speech and stuff like that, and then to pretty much to like blast her stuff out on MySpace. That they'll do it, and I'm like, no, until like, come on, like tell us like a deep secret of hers so you can feel good, level the plane, whatever. And I was like, no, like I'm good, like. And they're like, nah, like it's gonna come out, she's gonna have her moment, it's all gonna come out, blah 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 blah. And I was like, no, like it doesn't do anything for me, like it doesn't do anything for me, and I just don't want to, like I just don't want to. Sugar just looks at me and she like tells me and stuff that like it's no good to have like the heart that I have in this world. I need to protect my heart, protect my secrets, protect everything of mine, because ain't nobody gonna have the same heart as mine. And if I think that, I'm stupid. And I'm like, okay. I was like, it's cool. Like I'm not even gonna like worry about it. It's fine. I was stressed out about it, super bad. I felt like I was like trying so hard to defend myself with like the people who knew about like what happened, and it just felt so stupid having to tell people like, no, I didn't want him, like no, I didn't want him, like this is what happened. You know how stupid it was explaining my side when they were already like set on it, or they're like, okay, yeah, like it's just jokes. It's just so uncomfortable. And it's like, that's not even what happened, like this is what happened. And then I was so raw and open with it, they're like, okay, like didn't reply anything back, or they would just reply okay, or it was just like, okay. I would call people and be like, hey, like I don't know if you heard. Oh yeah, we heard. Like don't even trip. I'm like, okay, but like that's like not what happened. Like I was trying to explain my side, and there's no need. Like there's no need for it. Like it was just like, there's no need to explain my side to people who didn't care about me, that were just like okay with just just like spreading the cheesemas. Like they didn't care. Because if they did care, they would call, hey, you good? I heard this. But I didn't get that. I got that, oh yeah, like she looks like it. Oh yeah, like maybe that's why she doesn't come to school no more. Oh yeah, maybe that's why this. Maybe that's why she's so desperate. Maybe that. I got those kind of things. And it was so like, oh my God. Like I couldn't believe it. Like even when we go to like little kickbacks and stuff like that, it was gross. It was gross because I was hit with like, what's your fetish? You like that like stepdad and like stepdaughter fetish? And it was disgusting because the way that she said it, or what she said, or what she had told them, or whatever, because she still swears that like, no, she only said this and they spun it this way, they spun it that way. But at the same time, like it's just like my mom has fault in it too, because like how the are people supposed to believe that like I was the victim when you're over there right next to the one who hurt me? Make it make sense. So I had my anger here, had it everywhere, and it was just so confusing because the one who was supposed to protect me was chilling with my enemy, and I still wanted to be there. So it looked like I was the problem. It looked like I was like, how come Alexis is outcast and they're all living at home and stuff? Like it must be true. So I don't blame them to a certain extent because of how it looks. And it really messed with me for a long time. And even like having to explain to like adults in my life now, where they're like, and you have a sister and that's her dad. Like it is so like, and it's like, oh, and your grandma still talks to him? Yeah. Oh, and he still goes around and goes to her house, and She lets him use her car and but she's quick to defend all the other nasty stuff that other people do, right? But when it comes to me, but it's different because you gotta be understanding. That's your sibling's dad. No, no. Like, that's not fair. That's not fair. That's not fair. That's not on me. I shouldn't have been the one who was punished for his actions. You know what I mean? It's wrong. And I feel like I give a lot of people passes and excuses because of this and that. And then it gets to a point where I'm just like, holy crap. To like my husband, I was like, holy crap, babe. I was brainwashed because I really thought like that was normal. I really thought like it was normal to be like hushed and this and that. But from the get, things should have been handled so differently. So differently. So she ends up leaving and I'm just sitting there. It's kind of like just very, very quiet. Tommy's friend comes from the back and he kind of sits there in the living room with us, and he goes, "That's some heavy ass shawty." And I'm like, he tells me that he doesn't mean to like pry or anything like that, but like if he could ask me some questions. And I tell him like, yeah, go ahead. Tommy hits him and she's like, it's not the time. And he's like, I just want to ask some questions, like where does he work, what does he do, like where is he like usually hanging out. And all these questions was because I was thinking like, oh, because he probably wants to do something, huh? So I was like, he works on this street, he works from this time, he goes to this, and he loves to go to this bar. And he was like, all right. Even if he wasn't gonna act on it, it felt so good to be like, yeah, this and this, because it felt like, okay, I might get like a little bit of justice of like a good putazo or something, you know? So we're just sitting there and Tommy tells me to get up, that she wants to talk to me in the back room. I go to the back room with her and she tells me that she wants me to clean the whole room. That yes, it's up what happened. It's gross. She's sorry. But you're welcome for exposing the snake and catching her. And she doesn't want me around her and I better not be around her, and to clean the room. And I was like, okay. So I like pull the sheets. Sugar and Spice take me to the laundromat and we're sitting there. They're kind of like trying to like not bring up the situation, but they're like, you know, it's not your fault, right? And they want to know like more things of like where it started, like when it started. So I start telling them about the stories like in Mexico and like when we got here and, you know, like a bunch of things. And they're kind of just like, damn. And you don't want to do any of this stuff? And I'm like, no, I don't want to do that stuff. Like, I just want to be with my mom and my brothers. Spice can't help herself. And she's like telling me that like, I should just like cut off my mom. Like, why are you even talking to her? Like, cut her off. I would get a whole new identity, not talking to nobody. And Sugar is the opposite. Sugar is like, that's hard. Like, maybe her mom's being like, you know, held hostage. And Spice was like, no, you can't pick and choose. She can't be like 1 minute wanting to be playing house with him and then next want to be with like so-and-so and so-and-so down the street. Like, that's not fair. So they were kind of going at it, and then it just gets quiet after a while. And they just pretty much tell me that like, they're always going to have my back. Whether like there's like bad blood between us, because like we can't ever tell the future, but that they always have my back and that they're sorry that happened. And to pretty much just to like block all the people that are messaging me the stuff, and like just to try to put it out of sight, out of mind, and just to push forward, chin up, and that if I ever need them to call on them. And I was like, yeah. I didn't want to block Skillet because I was hoping that I was going to get paragraph after paragraph after paragraph of an apology, but it never came. After the second day, I decided to finally block her. I knew that that apology was never going to come. Like, I knew it was never going to come. I knew that it was either because she was too prideful or she really thought like, oh, I already said my sorries and whatever. What do you want me to do about it? It happened. It is what it is, you know? So after the second day, I just blocked her. I stayed with Tommy, and one morning we get a knock at the door, and it is the landlord. She looks at me. Do you live here? No, just visiting. how long have you been visiting? And before I could even answer, because I know the rules, it can only be 15 days and nothing longer than 15 days, because then you are considered a live-in and you have to like add that to stuff. So before I could even answer, Tommy is running, and she's like, who the at the door? And I told her it's the landlady, and I have it like this so like she can't like really see in, and I shouldn't have opened the door, but I don't learn. Tommy is going to the front, robed up, and she's talking to the lady. Tommy goes outside and talks to her, and I'm like trying to listen so hard, but like what's going on? Like I got like a pit stomach. I knew something's like not right, and I'm like kind of nervous. I'm like, oh, like maybe I shouldn't be here today. Maybe I should try and go back to the Peaches because I really miss them. And I'm just like okay with just like letting everything go, because like I just want to be around something different. And I just constantly felt like I was in the way with like Tommy and stuff. And after the whole argument with Los Cosas, the Chings, I was doing stuff to like pay her back because she wanted those 200. She wanted those 200, and he wasn't giving me the 200. So even though she already got the goods back, she still wanted the 200 out of respect, and I disrespected her, so I needed to pay those 200. So I was like, oh, you know what? I'll pay her back with the 200, doing extra chores, things around the house, and I can go back to the Peaches. After the long conversation, I'm sitting there eating a bowl of cereal. Tommy comes in, pissed. She's pissed. Wonder way, love. Do you remember that Little Chris song? Damn. Well, it was Biscuits Jam. I hated it at the time, but it was a good song. I think I hated it so much because I felt like I could relate to it so much. So every time she wanted to blast it, I hated it when Biscuit wanted to play it, but it was so relatable. I was like, I hated it. I look back and I'm like, yeah, I like that song. Anyways, she comes back in and I'm eating the bowl of cereal, and she tells me that I need to find a place to go. And I'm like, oh my God, this is so crazy. I was literally just thinking about like, oh, I'm gonna go with the Peaches, blah, 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 blah. And so I'm like eating, I'm like, why, what happened? And she's like, remember when you got the cops called? And I was like, no, like I didn't. I was like, I told you, like we didn't have a party. We didn't have, like I told you everything that we did. Because after like a while, like I did come clean. I told her everything that we did and stuff like that. And she was like, we get 3 strikes. And that was my second one. You need to go. And I was like, Tommy, like that wasn't my fault. She's like, you need to go. Okay. What am I supposed to do? I was like, can I finish getting ready? She's like, no, you need to go. Like, you need to go. Like, I'm sorry, Alexis. Like, I already got enough on my plate. This is where like my kids stay. And it's just too much. Like, your mom don't want to do with you. That's okay. That's cool. Find somewhere to go. I was just like, okay. Like I just pushed the cereal to the middle, and I was just like, I felt so grossed out because I was like, oh my God, ew. And I told her, like, out of just like trying to like see if I still had like some grasp to her, I was like, well, how am I gonna pay you like the rest of the time? Don't even worry about it. Just go. Like, go. If you need me to drop you off at the bus stop, if you need me to drop you off somewhere, you need to go. I was like, do you want me to talk to them? Like, I promised them, like, I didn't mean it. Like, I'm sorry, because I know the three rules, okay? Like, my mom got hit with 3, yeah, out. So I knew it was like, there's like no coming back. There's no like do-over. There's no like this. It's like, that's it. I was like, can the neighbor, you know, tell her that like it was a mistake, because like her and the neighbor were talking stuff like they had each other's phone numbers, and Tommy's like, it doesn't even matter. Like, it doesn't even matter. There's nothing I could do. You need to go. I am not going to risk it. I'm not going to risk it. This is where my kids are. You need to go. And she just kept saying it, and I was like, okay. Like, I didn't know what to do. I felt so weird. I was like, I didn't know what I was gonna do. I was like, I don't know if I for sure can go with the Peaches, because like we haven't even talked. Like, we talked a little bit here and there. Like, they'd be like, oh, how's everything? I'd say good. How's the kids? Good. We talked like that, but it wasn't like, oh, are you coming back now? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was just like dry conversation. So I was like, I felt like thrown off, because I was like, oh my gosh, like I literally put that out there because like I was like, oh, I'm gonna go and get the Peaches today. Like, I thought it was like a good day, and today was a good day. I really thought it was like that, but nope. No, miss ma'am. No, miss thing. I was confused. I was like, whatever you gonna do? Like, okay. So I just like pushed the food forward, and she's like wrap it up, like now. And like, I don't know if she was trying not to cry, but she was like, just wrap it up, like now. And like walks. And I was like, oh my God, do I react mad? You are a DRUG dealer and you're gonna kick me out? Like, I was thinking of like so many scenarios in my head, but I was like, no, like you gotta go. Like, it doesn't even matter if she does this and that, it's her place. Like, if she don't want you here, that's it. And you decided to like bring Skillet that day. So at the end of the day, it's your fault. It's your fault. That's just what it is, you know? I message my mom and I tell her like, hey mom, what are you doing? She goes, finally you messaged me, blah, 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 blah. Like, if it was my responsibility to message her, like, you were the parent, I'm the child. You were supposed to message me. I'm not supposed to chase you. So she tells me that she could pick me up. I don't tell her the situation was going on because I was like, I don't even want to tell her anything because I don't even want her to be like, you're gonna come with me. I message her and I tell her like, I'm super hungry. Can we like go get breakfast together? She's like, yeah, I was gonna take your brothers. We can go pick you up. Make sure you're ready. So I was like, okay, cool. I'm gonna go eat with my brothers. Okay, cool. I wasn't even hungry. I just said it because I was like, maybe that will take us to like out. We can be out, and then as we're out I can figure out a plan of like where I'm going to go, how I'm gonna do things. Like, I was trying to like, okay, and come up with a plan, like we're gonna do something, right? I'm gonna come up with something and it's gonna be okay. So I'm thinking of like, okay, this is gonna be the plan, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna see if we can like go shopping or looking, or if I'm gonna bring up like, hey, do you need to go grocery shopping, just to like stretch out my day. I'm literally like thinking about like, okay, this. My mom texts me, I'm outside, hurry and come out. I go outside and I'm like, oh, like it's just my mom. And I was like, they don't want to come, like plans change. And she's like, you'll see. So I'm like, okay. So we're here. It's gonna take 30 minutes to get to here. So the whole time we're there, she's like asking me like, what's new, blah, 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 blah. I'm telling her like, oh, I'm not talking to Skillet anymore. And she's like, I told you. And I'm like telling her like, yeah, you're right. It was her. She had something to do with it. And I didn't give her like the whole story, but I was like, yeah, she's Snake. You're right. I told you I was right. I told you there was something off about that one. I told you. I was like, I know. I just don't want to believe it. So we were kind of like laughing. Ha 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 ha. It was like we were bonding over the fact that Skillet ain't, you know, we're getting off the freeway and like my stomach just feels like it just gets like, oh, I was like, my stomach hurts. She's like, oh, you're so in tune with your body. And I was like, yeah, like my stomach hurts. And I was like, why'd you say that? And she was just like, I need you to be open-minded. And I was like, what do you mean? What? Because I'm like, what's going on? Like, what are we gonna do? I'm thinking, oh, you're gonna go stay with your grandma. You know, I can't think. And I'm like, what? She's like, I just need you to be open-minded, Alexis. Like, you can't just like be out doing whatever you want. It's just too much. And then I'm constantly worried about you. And I was like, okay, then get a job so that we can move out and be together then. And I was like, it's not that simple, Alexis. I wish you knew how hard it was. It's not so simple. And I was telling her like, well, my friend so-and-so, her mom applied for this and she got help with this. My mom's like, yep, I'm waiting on it. But like, we're other ones.
Still recording?
Yeah.
Guess what we have?
What is it? Jack in the Box?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Where did it open? Did it really?
It was a huge line all the way out into the street, like long.
That's crazy.
Some guy got all mad and stuff because I have to go through the drive-thru. Like,
ew. Thank you, babe. So she's telling me that I'm not going to be able to go out in the streets and do whatever I want. And that I need to be more understanding, see things from her point of view, the stresses and stuff like that. And that my brothers are little and stuff, and that I need to take them into consideration. And I tell her what about my feelings and how I feel, and she's just pretty much telling me that like to work with her. As we're talking, we pull up to the Golden Corral, and I'm like, this is where we're eating. I hate eating at the Golden Corral. I went last time, I think it was like for my brother's birthday, and it was pretty alright. But I hate going to Golden Corral because it takes it to a time where with my stepdad and my brothers and my mom, every Sunday we would go to Golden Corral. We wouldn't go to church or anything, but that was our thing. Every single Sunday, Golden Corral. Even on the days I could not stand this motherfucker, I would have to go, and I didn't like it. I didn't like how he portrayed that like, oh, I care about you, blah 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 blah, this is, I bring you to eat, don't I? I just hated it. Anyway, sidetrack. She pulls up to Golden Corral and I'm like, we're gonna have this. She was like, you see, Alexis, like I try and I try, and I was like, oh my god, mom, like I'd be good with even a freaking cheeseburger from Wendy's. Like I don't know why you act like if I'm some person that's like, nope, you gotta spend like this much money on me. And I'm like trying to like be funny with my mom, whatever, because like, I see that her face is getting mad. When my mom has like this face, she can make a dog whimper, okay? And it's just, I don't like it. So I was like trying to lighten the mood, trying to be funny with her, and it just wasn't working. We're walking in, she pays, we walk to the table that we always sit at, and I see my stepdad and my brothers. And I'm gonna leave it there, you guys. I love you guys so freaking much. Besos a todos. Thank you guys so much for always chilling with me and waiting for me and sending me positive love vibes and allowing me to share my story time with you guys. Even though I do break down and I cry and stuff, I just want you guys to know that you guys are not alone. If you guys can relate, I am so freaking sorry. I really am really sad when you guys tell me that you guys understand my pain and you guys share your stories. It makes me sad, but at the same time, it makes me so freaking happy to know that you are not alone and you find comfort in my channel and you guys find comfort in writing FAMBAM and being in the comment section. So it's like a bittersweet, but I am forever and will be forever thankful for you guys for always showing your constant support and love. I love you guys with all my heart. Te quiero mucho, you guys, and I'll see you guys in my next story time. Besos a todos. I'll see you guys soon. Bye. Let's begin.